Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still doing just fine in the Fragile Unity thing. I think we might be able to get everywhere we want to go. Now, I've been thinking about doing a little warfare. If I go after Burma, to take Shan, for example. Just as an example. If I try to conquer the Shan states, who will side with them? Dainam? Reasonable. I don't think France or Great Britain will. Cambodia or the Dutch East Indies might. But I think I can take Cambodia or the Dutch East Indies. It's 11 infamy. I think we do it. We'll see how they react to that. Alright, alright. They've decided to fight. Let's take a look at the army. Okay, they've got something resembling a real army. Shan in a similar situation. I don't think we're gonna need too much here. I could sway Dainam. No, I could sway East India Company. Interesting. We could carve up Burma together. And I'm going to throw a war goal in there. I want the Burmese Shan states as well. I don't think that'll be too controversial. We'll just mobilize a couple of our larger armies. I don't think it's going to be too complex to get this done. We'll see what they do. Do I want to add this to primary? It'd be 5.6. I don't necessarily. What if I added... I can't get a transfer subject. I could make them a tributary, but that seems pointless. So we'll get the game going a little bit, and we'll see what the force comparison looks like. I'm going to mark my strategic objectives as my strategic objectives, because that's what they are. Now, my plan for funding wars is to halt construction, but I think I can live without doing that for now. So we'll wait. Alright, force comparison's looking rock solid here. And it doesn't look like anyone's really interested in getting involved. Dainam is looking like they might get involved. What do I need to do to bring in the EIC? War goals. Protectorate. Oh, they would get a lot of infamy. I'm going to leave that for now, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, none of the European powers are really interested. Alright, Britain bailed out. They're not worried about it. They're not going to bat for Burma, that's for damn sure. Alright. I think this is solid. Luang Prabang... Oh, they're a subject of Siam. I thought they were a subject of Burma. That's okay. Why am I taking the Shan states? Because it rhymes with Han states. And I'm Han. See? Dainam still has not bothered to get involved, and if they don't, then I think I can just win with the forces I've currently got mobilized. I've got some Tibetan infantry over here assisting as well. So I think that should be good. Alright, and we are in the countdown to war, so that is how things are going. And we've completed our relation improvement with America. Who are other powers around the globe we can improve relations with? There aren't that many. Portugal is conciliatory and Great Britain is cooperative, so go ahead and move my my interest. Oh, my interest fell off. That's why I wasn't able to do that. All right, so let's look at one in Germany and one in the Balkans, and that should get us a lot of possibilities. let's see how these battles are going. It's looking good. It's looking good. Obviously, the enemy's got higher defense than we've got attack under normal circumstances, but we've got size and organization on our side, so I'm feeling pretty good. Our costs are modest in this war. We are running a positive net balance, so I'm feeling pretty good about that overall. As we get into our second massive university expansion, which will once again add more line items to the budget. Korean attitude worsened. Well, that's a shame. Alright, let's improve relations with the Ottomans, the Austrians, and the Prussians. What are their attitudes? Prussians are cautious, Austrians are cautious, Ottomans are cooperative. Alright, and we'll do the same with the Egyptians. Can't have too many friends. Alright. Russians are still cautious, even though relations are quite good. Obviously, I've given myself a bunch of infamy. Taking territory maybe is not the smartest call, as China, I've already got a huge territory that I can't really afford to administer properly, so, you know, we'll sort of figure out how things go. But, you know, it'll be nice to flex our diplomatic weight. That's really what I feel like this war is for, to throw our weight around and get what we want to get. This will also put us on a land border with Siam, and I think Chiang Mai has to side with Siam in wars, so I think if we decide to turn Siam into a tributary and maybe steal Chiang Mai and Luang Prabang, we'll have a convenient way to do that. And it looks like we are just about to have them fully capitulated. So, we've taken the Shan states, and the Shan states are good because they've got coal and lead. And that's very nice. And now we have a little dangly bit over here. Our economy grows. So, what if I reduced your autonomy? Korea? What if I reduced your autonomy? I could do that. I think I'm going to. We'll make them a vassal. That's nice. Perfect. Hey, now they're the right color. Perfect. Beautiful. Let's look at Lanfang. Lanfang is good to go. And Tibet is good to go as well. Ah. The goldfields are in North Heilongjiang are depleted once again. Rich mineral deposits have been drained, and the mines are being shuttered. All the prospectors who moved in are beginning to drift away in search of the next big strike. I'm just going to say unfortunate once again. That's going to give them a big penalty to migration attraction, but it's going to mean more capacity for gold mines and more ports needed to support the gold mines that we've already got queued in. In fact, let's go ahead and disperse those. We'll continue to put the foundries at the bottom of the queue here. And what we'll do is we'll just do a nice little intersperse here. One every two. Perfect. We did it. How's the universities going? Universities are progressing at a decent clip. Not as fast as I might like, but we'll take a break a little later to build more naval bases. Cash flow is looking very good. So if I wanted to make a war on Siam, they have a guarantee of independence from the Netherlands, but I'm not necessarily worried about that. I feel like the size and weight of my armed forces will allow me to do what I want to do on that. So, diplomatic demands, I can make them a tributary. Unavailable demands. Why can I not transfer a subject? Because Siam is not the subject of another nation. That's right. I got to target one of these as a subject. So, transfer subject on them 3.4 on Luang Prabang 3.4 infamy. Transfer subject in Chiang Mai 6.2. So if I want to do both of those, and I do eventually, I need to be at like, I need to be below, like, 12 infamy would be ideal. So I've got to wait about a year in order to make that happen. Again, I'm gonna be careful with debt, because going into debt is gonna make my fragile unity thing a little bit of a shocker. However, we are gradually increasing in innovation as we build more universities. And that's a trend that is critical to keep going. Ooh, more gold in North Heilongjiang. Gold rush. Gold has been discovered in North Heilongjiang. People from all corners of the earth are converging there, confident that they will discover the next great lode and become incredibly rich. It was a single misplaced foot in the river. His son quick at his side, hoisting him from the water before the currents claimed him. Then, as the sediment rose, with both his leg and his walking stick, they saw it, the unmistakable shimmer of Plutus's very blood. By the next morning, they were both at the river with sieves and shovels, and by the night, the whole town had joined them. Our options are spread the word, extra migration attraction, or mine, it's all mine, less migration attraction, but more gold fields throughput. I'm going to go with the second one. I'm always loving that. So how's the market? Iron is still pretty expensive, and guns are still pretty expensive. We're not short on firearms yet, but they're still pricey. Our arms industries are producing, right? The ones in Inner Mongolia are not, which I'm not a big fan of right now. Hebei has sufficient population, getting a little tight on infrastructure. Let's go ahead and build up a few more levels of arms industry, since the arms industry here is productive. We'll throw those ones in at the top. We'll do the universities that we got under construction first, just to get them done, and then we'll work on those arms industries. And that should hopefully make things a little bit easier for us cash flow-wise. Russians are fighting Prussians. Over what, though? Okay, here we go. It's the Russians and the Austrians against the Prussians. Sadly, I don't have an ability to do this. This is a German leadership situation. They're competing for German leadership. I'm in a good relationship with both Prussia and Austria, so I can just chill and vibe and not involve myself in the internal politics of the barbaric nations to our west. Did I improve relations with the Raj? Should I? Sorry, with the East India Company. With the company. We love them, as Markiplier would say. Hooray, vineyards. I'm so glad that the investment pool is building vineyards. I can never sell... I never wind up with a shortage of wine. I always wind up with dirt cheap wine in all my markets. Yet, here is the investment pool exercising its wisdom and building vineyards. I'm just being a salty cat, don't worry about me. I'm doing really well overall in this run. I'm experiencing excellent overall circumstances in this run. The one thing I wish hadn't happened is Dainam getting made a protectorate of Britain, but it can't be helped. Oh, I got another construction sector that I can start using iron construction, which will allow me to build a little faster. And I can afford it because my cash flow is actually very good right now. And as we build more arms industries, it will get even better. So what are my ongoing ambitions? I would like to, next time Dutch East Indies gets up to some nonsense, I would like to grab Pontianak, because Pontianak, well, I think, and Sintang together, and this little section of the Dutch East Indies here, are all part of the state that Lanfang is part of, West Borneo. So if I could consolidate those under Lanfang, that would be nice. I would be delighted to be able to do that, and it would make me happy. Austrian Tuscany knowledge sharing ended. Interesting. Where am I vis-a-vis the power blocks? Am I being pulled anywhere? Not really. Interesting. It is what it is. Not worried over much about it. Very happy to have this cash flow buffer because I have definitely been in situations where I did not have one of those, and hoo boy, can it be a gigantic headache. Ah, well, would you look at that? The Dutch East Indies are going after Bulungan. So, if I say I would help Bulungan in exchange for a chunk of the Dutch East Indies, or in exchange for Pontianak, $5.4 in infamy, it's doable. And I could steal that for Pontianak, for Lanfan. Nice state there. There's a chance that a European power would get involved. But that wouldn't necessarily be a problem for me. So let's do it. Let's grab a conquer on Pontianak. I don't need to get too greedy on this. Beautiful. Once again, we'll send an army. Deal with that. How are people aligned at this point? Alright, there's a chance that the Dutch East Indies will, or that the East India Company will join, but on our side. I'm going to mobilize one of my smaller armies just to do that naval invasion that I've been so delighted about. This extra army can be got rid of. Where are my fleets at this time? Ooh, medical degrees. Excellent. That will be very useful once I'm in a situation where medicine is happening. Dutch East Indies damaging relations. Well, that's fine. I don't mind you damaging relations with me, Dutch East Indies. I can take it. Somehow we keep developing an army down here. Not quite sure what that's about, but, you know, life can be strange. My ratio here is not as good as I would like it to be. Ooh, lathe. Excellent. Ooh, dye workshops for textile mills. That's very good. Leaded glass for glassworks, and lathes for furniture manufactories. That's going to change everything. I'll send another army here, just to make sure we're good to go. And let's implement some more production methods, friends. So lathes, that's going to cost... Okay, I got to be conscientious about this, because it's going to cost a lot more tools. How am I doing on tools? I'm doing okay. Dye workshops is only going to cost dyes. So first, I'll check how I am on dyes. I can absolutely do dye workshops. That one's not even a question. In fact, we'll swap over to craftsman sewing for that, and that'll be that. Now, for furniture manufactories, it'll cost me 5 tools. There's 38 manufactories, round up to about 40. So that means it's going to cost 200 tools. Tools in my market are... I could stomach a 200 increase, and then the leaded glass thing. Where's my... Do I have lead? I don't currently produce any lead, so I'll need to work on that part. Let's go ahead and hit this button. Well, it's certainly going to make them more productive. Let's see if it holds in the long term. But I would be delighted if it did, because that would make me a happy cat. Dutch East Indies backs down. Excellent. Alright. Quickly before I do this, subjects, everyone is at low autonomy. I can reduce Lanfang to vassal. So let's do that. And then we'll grant them the state they're currently in. Beautiful. Great power diplomacy at work. Russia has expelled our diplomats. Russia! Why are you so belligerent? Russia, you're fighting a war in Europe. Why are you belligerent right now? Why, yada? I don't want to just be grabbing territory away from Russia for no reason. But I feel like they've become belligerent. I don't feel like that's on me. That having been said, I've got other priorities, which is to grab Luang Prabang and Chiang Mai from Siam. Are you two sharing a state? Please tell me you're not sharing a state. No, you're Lao, and you're an entire state. Chiang Mai is a state by itself. Alright, so Siam still doesn't have any problematic relationships that I might need to deal with. What's this? Well, look at that. France has restored the Bourbon monarchy. Excellent. What an interesting situation. I will need to be interested in dealing with that. So give me you. So who's likely to step in? Dynam in Cambodia, I can deal with them. Great Britain is at minus 44. Dutch East Indies is at 0. They might accept 33% chance. So before I do that, how does it look with Chiang Mai? Might accept 30% chance. Great Britain's still a maybe on them. See, with Great Britain being a maybe, this one's a risk. They're feeling cooperative with us, but relations are poor. And I can't... I should be able to queue in improving relations. We're getting our naval bases built. That should be good. How is tech output? Still at 71. Oh, right, because I'm at my innovation cap. But that's good. That means it's overflowing into tech spread, and tech spread is still very effective. Obviously, I'm not... Okay. Obviously, I'm not... Russia's damaging relations. I'm not too worried about that. Obviously, tech spread is small in the amount that's... I don't get to choose what that comes in, but I'm going to be accepting tech spread for a long time. Luang Prabang wants us to support their independence. Luang Prabang? I will support your independence as part of my network, sir. What would it take to make Burma a tributary? There's definitely a temptation, but their economy is quite small. Especially since I seized a bunch of their territory. Ooh, I lost an admiral. I'm gonna deal with that. I don't know why I keep developing these armies nobody asked for. Let's see. Ooh, we got a literati guy. You, sir, will be a giant admiral. Perfect. Politics achieved. That said, we're a little short on bureaucracy. So let's build up a little bit more government in Henan province. Not too much. Just a little more. Just enough to be functioning. Very happy with this cash flow situation. Let's I don't want to lose either of the interests that I'm currently working on. So things will have to wait with the United States. I still can't trade to them, right? No. I need to get an interest over there. Have I... And I don't have an interest, right? Oh, I do. Nice. Did I lose an interest somewhere else? Maybe I did. Okay, well, we'll be able to trade with them soon enough. Perfect. I nailed it. So good at politics. There we go. That's the bureaucracy issue solved. Still the world's #1 economy by a country mile. Still the highest population nation in the game by a mile that is even larger than the size that a country mile is. I'm so good and articulate and smart and handsome and good at video games. So after this, do I still build these universities? I think the answer is a for sure yes. There's my interest. So, USA. What's cheap in your market? Sugar, ammo. Ooh, I could buy ammo from the USA very soon. Dyes, we're fine. Clippers, could buy clippers. Explosives, guns. Just looking at various goods. Okay, not a lot to do with that, but we'll get there. We'll find a use for a trade route with the United States. All right, so there's general staff. So now I gotta be a little bit conscientious about this because ammo is expensive. We'll start. Oh my goodness, the Sepoy Mutiny. That was fast. I guess it wasn't that fast. I guess we're 10 years into the game already. Oh, that's a big Hindustan. Nice. All right, so that'll be interesting. So, who do we want? Looking for an army under someone reliable. You're reliable. And as long as we're doing that, we'll set ammo to protect domestic supply. No import tariffs. All right, looking good. Yes, this is the and just to make sure we're where we want to be with that. Yes, all right, we're okay. We're okay where we want to be with that. Iron situation's still a little wonky. Demand keeps going up and down, and I'm not sure how to deal with that. But I suppose I'll just have to do my best. So we finished out with, or we basically finished out with our naval bases. We got another set of universities in construction. I think now is when we do those gold mines. And we knock all that out, and that's going to be good for our cash flow overall. So, technology-wise, we're working on the Atmo pump engine. Tech spread we've increased by about 50%. Well, by 5. So, you know, about 10%. But we'll get more later. We'll get more later, building up more universities. These universities are also hopefully going to increase our literacy rate, which has been going slowly up, and will have the ability to continue going up. Oh my gosh, Hindustan is winning. Get him, Hindustan. Beautiful. I'm delighted by this. I've never been happier. A monument to the Emperor. A statue of Emperor Dao Guang Aisin Gyoro was commissioned, and it has been suggested it be displayed proudly in Jiangsu. Cautious is how you would describe the look on the face of the statue when it smiles down on you, eyes that flicker in the opposite direction of the sun, though maybe you are just imagining it. Options are a monument worthy of the Emperor, extra prestige, and radical pops, or perhaps not everyone wishes to be reminded of the Empire, salty petite bourgeoisie. Let's do the first one. I can afford to have some radical pops. I got a lot of loyalists right now. Standard of living is way, way up. A foreign manifesto. The recently translated works of Gopinath Deva Deva have become popular within the peasant movement. The relationship has developed to the point of Gopinath Deva Deva openly endorsing the movement. And for a whole large class, there is no other end, especially for a nation so eminently practical as the Qing. The great thing is to get the working class to move as a class, that once obtained, they will soon find the right direction, and all who resist will be left out in the cold with small sects of their own. Our struggle is an international one. Strong movement. I can also suppress it to weaken the movement, but I don't necessarily wish to do that. Dutch East Indies is going after Sintong. I should have stopped that. That's okay. That's alright. I don't think I would have been able to join anyway. Whichever way forward. With the attitudes of the armed forces towards the United States of America growing more apathetic, their leadership has begun to discuss reassessing the group's support for the Qing American League. Interesting. It is more difficult to get appointments at the Foreign Ministry these days. The initial interest they had inspired had long since waned, the lobby's activities falling into Beijing's background noise. The armed forces were the first to lose interest. Their representatives initially disheartened by an absence of news, and no longer inclined to read the papers when they arrived. What reason do we have to care for happenings in Washington? Their younger members challenged. The elders did not know how to respond. It is time for a change in course. They leave the League. Why change something that works? They remain. Time for a change in course. That's fine. They can leave the League. What can I do with my politics? I still haven't gotten a modern conservative here. Getting rid of serfdom long-term would be really good. Again, I would love to have the literati in charge. If I get the literati in charge, what are things I can accomplish? Maybe a better taxation policy? I don't have the tech for a better taxation policy right now, right? Yeah, because I need currency standards. It is going to be a lot of long, slow work to get up there in tech, but that's why we're working on getting all those universities built. I say as I am presently not working on universities. But cash flow is also important. It's very important to have an economy that supports your goals. I don't know what increased my standard of living. Probably dealing with the opium issue, but I'm not sure. I'm genuinely a little bit surprised. Opium tax is not as productive as others could be. Well, it's more productive than anything else I've got access to at the moment. Cash flow being a little silly for a second here, but hopefully that'll sort itself out as things go. There's going to be big changes to the way ports and whatnot, and trade routes and whatnot work in the next big expansion pack, but that's for down the road. I think it's scheduled for June, which means we will probably be finishing this run kind of right into the teeth of that. I might get episodes dropping a little earlier just so that we're like right finishing out at the time of that patch dropping, because now that I'm thinking about it, I want to run the new run in the new world concurrently with Burden of Command. So I think that's kind of how we'll do it. That's what we'll do, and that's how we'll do it. Infamy is getting real low. Let's see how it would look doing this again. Okay. Stuff going on in Russia. Alright. This is a good opportunity. So Great Britain doesn't want to get involved. France doesn't want to get involved. So, Dutch East Indies might, and that's okay. Do I force a diplomatic play? I think I might. But getting something for free would be extremely nice. And then I could continue chilling and vibing. If they see reason, they'll see reason. They didn't see reason. Alright, that's okay though. We'll go ahead and add a war goal to grab Chiang Mai as well. Do I throw that into the primary? I think I do. And I've got an army with skirmish infantry now. So let's take a look at that and see how the force comparison looks with just that army. Again, I don't think anyone else is necessarily going to get involved here. Ammo supplies are a little rough. Let's see where we can bring in from. Prussia and France. Absolutely. We seem to once again be short on government admin. Let's build up Guangxi and Guangdong. Netherlands sides with Siam. Okay, that's fine. Bang damaging relations. Trade agreement with France. Absolutely. I'm gonna throw another army in there. Alright, government seems to be doing a little bit better. I'm going to mobilize another army, just to make sure we're in a very good spot. Oh, City of Plenty. The most prominent members of Guangxi high society have been seen organizing luxurious parties in the new and lavish urban buildings. Marble walls, shimmering stone. The noise of people coming and going brings the city back to life when we didn't even know it was dead. Tall buildings cover the sunset, kids play with bricks, smoke blends with the clouds, and a distant bell announces the next train. Progress is coming. Guangxi, what do things look like here? The affluent, the upper stratum are affluent. Their minimum expected standard of living is middling. 30 against 17, that's a very good ratio. So, the decision I need to make here, and this is my first one of these events, but we're going to get more of them later on, are let them celebrate for a 10% increase to loyalism among the upper and middle stratum pops of Guangxi, or I can say the party will never end to get 25% instead, but that increases the minimum expected standard of living for the upper strata by 3. Minimum expected of 20 with an average of 30 is just fine, so I'm going to hit that second button. Basically betting I can keep standard of living high, and I can. With that having been said, that is all the time we've got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you've had fun, and I will see you on the other side.